All right, well, this is my 1979 Chevy C10. It's got a big block in it. I've had this thing for 10 years now. I've done some minimal stuff to it. Haven't had to do too much to it. I've been very thankful for that. It's got dual tanks. It's the heavy half, if you know what those are, the Big Tens. Big Tens. I think they came back out with those a few years ago. They came out with the Big Ten again. Problem I'm running into now, well, she's overheating. So I picked up a 160-degree thermostat. And if you have an older car and you're running into problems where you're stuck in traffic all day, I live here in East Tennessee, Gatlinburg area. So we sit in traffic all day long. Well, I think it probably has a 205-degree thermostat in it. It runs 210, 215 or so, just sitting in traffic. And it shouldn't be doing that. So I picked up one of these, and I'm going to show you how to replace one with the proper gasket for like $10. And you won't have to worry about overheating now. Look at that. So if you don't know, continue watching and let's figure it out. Like I said, this right here is your thermostat housing. Mine's right here on the front. Yours might be somewhere else. This is where mine is. I don't know how well you can see it. Let's see. Right here. So disconnect your hose. 2 bolts on the outside. And that's it for me. That's all I got to do. Comes right off. If you have an older car, alrighty. Keep that above your radiator and you won't have any leakage. Don't worry. No leakage around here. All right. Stuff's pretty big. Probably going to be 9/16 or ½ inch. 9/16 it is. All right. 2 bolts on the sides. This thing was cut from the previous owner. That's by AC line. I guess he didn't like AC. And he cut them off at the hard lines. I have the compressor. I don't think I'll ever hook it all back up. Right. Make sure you grab your mom's favorite enamel pot to throw all your nuts and bolts in, kids. There we go. All right. That's it. It's that easy. Now, this sometimes is a pain to pop off, and that one wasn't. Crappy gasket on there. See how crappy that gasket is? Just kind of falling apart. I had a little leak. I knew I had a leak. We'll throw that in here. All right. Let's see. Probably just going to trash that anyways. It works. The thermostat works. I think it's just too big of a thermostat for this. It's good for the wintertime. Yep. As I was expecting. How well you can see that right there at the bottom. 96 degrees Celsius, 205 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what this thermostat. So what these do, if you don't know what these do, and you're like, well, what is it? This spring, when it gets hot, compresses and opens your thermostat up, and it allows water to come in through your radiator into your engine block. And now, all you mad scientists can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm almost positive that's what it does. And they're pretty cheap. And normally, if you have a cooling problem, that's the problem. Especially if it's not getting like super hot super fast, it's just staying hot. Normally, it's your thermostat won't open up. Sometimes these springs go bad. It won't open up all the way, and it won't allow you to get the proper cooling into your engine. So what, the coolant goes through the radiator, which cools the water, or the antifreeze or whatever you want to call it, cools it, throws it into your engine and cools your engine. So this is throwing in water that's 205 degrees Fahrenheit, which is keeping the engine warmer, right? Which is good if you're in a cold climate and you need hot water or hot heat during the winter. 205 for me. I just beat around town. I don't need 205 degrees. So we're going to replace it. This bad mamma jamma right here. Let's see if I can show you there how well you can see 160 degree Fahrenheit. That right there is going to fix most of my problems. Also, don't use RTV. Get an actual gasket. They're dirt cheap. Throw it in there. Biggest thing now is cleaning off all this old gasket material. So for that, if you have a razor blade, you can use a razor blade on its side. Or if you are like, I don't have anything, get you an old chisel. Be careful. Chisels are hardened. You don't want to be scratching stuff up. Now you want to try to... There we go. Probably the worst rag for the job there. It's all right. And antifreeze is not toxic anymore, guys, so don't worry. There we go. Got a little bit more out of there. You don't want to let a whole lot of gunk fall down in here. And if you have like a little shop vac or something, you can vacuum that water out or antifreeze out, whatever you want to call it. So what we're doing here is you're taking your chisel or your razor blade and you're going around the edges and you are trying to clean up all that old gasket material. And once that old gasket material is off, you're going to take a wire brush of some sort, or whatever you have to possibly clean it a little bit better. And you want to make sure you get it down to bare metal, because you want your new gasket to stick nice and good, and you want that seal to be perfect. That way you're not leaking anything. And if something falls in, it's not the end of the world, as long as it's not big pieces. And now they sell these little carbide scrapers. They look like little flatheads, big, basically like a chisel. And they have carbide teeth on the end. And they work really good. I just don't have one. And I'm broke, so I'm not buying one. Get you a little brush, little steel brush. You can use brass if you want to. Honestly, if all you have is nylon, use nylon. Use what you got. Just clean it up nice and good. If you're ever in a pickle on the side of a road and you think your thermostat isn't opening up, let it cool off. Remove that thermostat, and that'll allow your engine to free flow all that antifreeze. I'm sure there's some negative side effects to it. But if you are in a pickle, if you're in a jam and you're like, man, I am stuck, maybe we'll get out of it. We're going to let that kind of dry out a little bit. While that's happening, we want to clean the backside of this, obviously. See how pitted and gross that is? You could buy these new. They're pretty cheap. I'm not going to, because I don't care enough to. You want it as clean as possible, guys. Take your time and get it clean. Get your gaskets clean. It'll save you in the long run. Speaking from experience here, I cheaped out on my valve cover gaskets. Didn't put them on, didn't clean everything properly, and they leak all the way in the back. If you know anything about these big blocks, it is a pain in the butt to get back there to replace the gasket. I should have just done it right the first time, but I didn't, and that's on me. Well, that's all clean. And that's all clean. Not the end of the world. You know, I said earlier, don't use RTV silicone. Guess what I'm using? RTV silicone. All right. So your new thermostat just gets dropped right in there. Button facing up, or whatever you want to call it. The spring goes down. The spring goes down into your engine block. These gaskets are pretty universal. Most thermostats are universal. I wish this tip was working. I don't know why it's not. Double gasket. Now this might leak. Very good chance that this still leaks. I wouldn't have put RTV on it if I didn't rip the freaking gasket in half. Idiot. Like an idiot. Like a goofball. Okay, I got one started. All right, they're both started. This thing annoying. Okay. Snug. Don't over crank these. Just snug them up. There's a gasket there for a reason. Once it gets hot, you can snug them back up even more. Okie dokie. It's on there. Silicone's on there. It's snugged up. We'll throw the radiator hose back on. Tighten that hose clamp back down. That is on there. All right, let's fire her up and see what happens. It might leak. You never know. Doesn't look like anything yet. It's hard to tell while it's cold. Once that thermostat opens up, then you'll be able to really tell if it's leaking. Well, we'll check back in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. Let her get nice and hot, and then we'll know if there's any leaks. Let's see. Been running for about 10 minutes now. Let me tell you, let me show you something, and let me tell you a little life hack. Typically, it is above that half mark. Probably a quarter above that half mark, but not quite to that quarter mark yet. And now look where it's at. I'm gonna let it keep idling for a while and see. But if you're overheating and you don't have a fix, you can always turn your defroster on. From what I know, that'll make the coolant flow through your heater core and hopefully give it some more chance to cool down and blow some of that hot air into your cat. I know it'll suck, but if you're overheating, it's a fix. Not a permanent fix, but it helps. So if you're sitting in traffic and you're overheating, you can always turn your defroster on or your thermostat or your heater on and have it full blast, as hot as you can get it, and it'll help cool your car down. There's a little trick for you. We're gonna leave it sitting, idling for another 10 minutes or so. It's been idling for about 10 minutes. We're gonna leave it for another 10 and see if that needle goes up anymore. I know it works, and it's looking pretty good right now. It's looking pretty cool, which is good to know. It's been running for another 10 minutes. Let's go check the thermostat on the inside of the truck and see how cool or hot the truck is. Alrighty, hasn't even hit the halfway point, which means it's running fairly cool. Obviously, this is a 454, so it is a big old girl, and it takes a lot to cool it. And I'm not moving. So this is as hot as this would be like me sitting in traffic for 20 minutes not moving. Staying pretty steady, not too bad. I'm gonna leave it running for another 5 minutes or so and see if it keeps going up or if it stays there. It's going up a little since I last checked in, and so let's see if it goes up from the halfway point, or the almost halfway point, I should say. Yeah, it's a big girl. It's hard to cool a big girl like that, you know. I'm a big guy, I understand. You give me a t-shirt and I'm like, woo, I'm sweating. So this truck's got a couple sweatshirts on still. It's hot out, it's not moving. It stayed just about the same. I'm gonna go ahead and kill it. Ready. Still no leaks up here. Call that a success. It ran cooler than just driving down the road. Normally, when I'm driving down the road, it runs a little warmer than what it was sitting and idling at, which is good. No airflow was hitting the radiator to help cool anything off. And it stayed fairly cool. So I can't complain, that was a success. So if you have a car that is overheating, check your thermostat. That could be the problem. It could be too high of a thermostat. It could also just not be working properly. And they're super cheap, and you just saw I fixed it in probably 20 minutes.